Welcome to the Mystery and History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Betty Page, an American model, is photographed in 1954 at the height of her career as a fashion icon and retro-style model. A scientist descends into the radioactive darkness of Chernobyl in 1986, shortly after the nuclear disaster. A woman walks among the ruins of Dresden, Germany in 1945 after air raids destroyed much of the historic buildings. The nuclear facility at Los Alamos is photographed in 1974, showing the research site where the first nuclear weapons were developed during the Manhattan Project. Joseph Stalin, in 1934, is photographed pointing a gun at the audience in a casual manner, a gesture loaded with symbolism and control. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg kiss in a prison van outside the federal courthouse after being charged with atomic espionage in 1950. The couple sparked major controversy during the Cold War. Benito Mussolini, then still little known, is attacked and arrested after protesting Italy's entry into World War I in 1915. Martin Luther King Jr. is portrayed in front of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee on April 3, 1968, the night before he was killed at the same spot. Easy Company, 2nd Battalion of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, is pictured at the Eagle's Nest in 1945 after capturing the Nazi complex in Berchtesgaden, Bavaria. A mechanic inspects the Hindenburg airship's engine during a transatlantic flight between Frankfurt and Lakehurst in March 1936. A janitor sweeps the floor of the New York Stock Exchange after the 1929 crash. The image captures the desolation that followed the market collapse, marking the start of the Great Depression. Winston Churchill and Charles de Gaulle walked together down the Avenue des Champs-Élysées in Paris during the Victory Day parade in France on November 11, 1944. In August 1969, President Richard Nixon greets the Apollo 11 astronauts after their return to Earth as they enter quarantine to prevent contamination by extraterrestrial pathogens. Polio and arthritis patients rest in beds on a hospital rooftop in the USA around 1900, receiving outdoor treatment to benefit from sunshine and fresh air. Liberty ships are built in 1941 for World War II, an urgent measure to replace Allied shipping losses. In 1959, protesters gather in Little Rock, Arkansas, to oppose racial integration in schools, a controversial issue at the time. An undercover police officer blocks a knife attack in Glasgow in 1971. The scene captures the dangerous work of plainclothes officers during urban violence. United States Army vehicles disembark at the port of La Rochelle, France in 1957 in the context of the Indochina War. An armorer works on a Browning 50 cal machine gun in a B-17 Flying Fortress turret in 1944. An unemployed worker with his Social Security number tattooed on his arm is photographed during the Great Depression in 1939. The image illustrates the harsh reality many Americans faced. A curious girl on roller skates watches security forces during the Bogside disturbances in Derry, Northern Ireland in August 1969. The episode marked tense community confrontations. Winston Churchill visits the White House in January 1942 wearing his famous siren suit, a practical outfit designed for nighttime air raid alerts. Men take a smoking break during the construction of the Auckland Bridge in New Zealand in 1950. Palestinian civilians and Australian soldiers engage in a lively snowball fight in Jerusalem in January 1942 during World War II. A French army woman drinks a bottle of red wine in a devastated German town in 1945 after the end of World War II. The scene reflects relief and tension following the intense fighting and destruction. A 15,000-ton steam-powered hydraulic press operated in the Friedrich Krupp AG workshops in Essen, Germany during the 1920s. A woman lights Mao Zedong's cigarette, the Chinese communist leader, in 1957. The scene symbolizes the deep reverence for his government during the Communist Party's consolidation in China. Philippa Petit walks a steel cable between the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City on August 7, 1974, without safety equipment. Ronnie Bell protests in front of a Broadway theater in New York in 1975 against a play deemed inappropriate. The demonstration included performers and audience members. In 1965, Angus Barbieri, a 27-year-old Scot, completed a 382-day fast, surviving only on coffee, tea, electrolyte drinks, and vitamins. Female students protest in London in 1972 against physical punishment in schools, gathering in front of City Hall to demand more respectful disciplinary methods. An installation in Times Square in 1955 features a giant trash can labeled, "This trash belongs to you," and notes that 200 pounds of waste are discarded daily at the site. Sailors haul a boat through the narrow streets of Port Isaac, England in 1928 as they move it from the shipyard to the launch site. Police hold back Elvis Presley fans outside a concert in Florida in 1956. The scene captures fans' intense reaction to Elvis mania, with crowds trying to get close to the singer. President Richard Nixon attends a ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial on February 12, 1974, laying a wreath in honor of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The behind-the-scenes of Star Wars show crew members working on the set during the filming of the original trilogy in 1977. The scene reveals the dedication and creative effort behind one of the most iconic films in cinema history. People buy cheese in Paris, France in 1938. The outdoor market displays large wheels of cheese stacked on the sidewalks as shoppers select their products. A milk dispensing station in Berlin in 1934 shows people collecting milk directly from a large tank set up on a city street. Sigourney Weaver is photographed at Tail of the Pup in Los Angeles, California in 1983. The famous hot dog stand is known for its dog-shaped facade. Jimmy Carter, graduating from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland on June 5, 1946, is photographed with his fiancée, Rosalind Smith, and his mother adjusting his academy uniform. Warwick Davis, just 11 years old, takes a break during the filming of Return of the Jedi in 1982. At the time, he played Wicket the Ewok, becoming an iconic figure in the Star Wars franchise. Sophia Loren is photographed in the 1960s at one of her most glamorous moments. At the time, she was one of Hollywood's most famous actresses, known for her beauty and talent. Wendy Carlos is photographed with her modular synthesizer in her recording studio in 1979. She was a pioneer in using synthesizers to compose electronic music. The old Stockholm telephone tower in Sweden is pictured in 1890, connecting about 5,500 telephone lines. The tower was a landmark in the city's telecommunications expansion. Stacks of lumber drying at the Seattle Cedar Lumber Manufacturing Company in Seattle, Washington, around 1919. Weightlifter and stunt double Relna Brewer McRae and her friend Stockton adjust makeup at their training site in Santa Monica, California in the 1940s. Two fishermen knit winter clothes in Ramsgate, Kent, England during the 1940s. The scene shows workers preparing warm garments during World War II. Albert Einstein moments before his famous tongue-out photo on March 14, 1951, after his 72nd birthday party in Princeton. He was photographed by Arthur Sassy as he left the celebration. Joe and Jill Biden are photographed in 1977 at the start of their marriage, before Joe Biden's political career. Rita Moreno is photographed listening to records in the 1950s in a relaxed moment of the actress and singer's life. The HMS Invincible's homecoming ceremony after the Falklands War on September 17, 1982, shows Sea King helicopters and Sea Harrier jets lined up on the deck. A woman speaks on a mobile phone at Heathrow Airport in London in the 1980s. Phones were large and heavy in their early versions. Customers buy bread and snacks at a drive-through market and drink stand in Los Angeles in 1949. The McDonald's crew poses for a photo around 1970 in Staten Island, New York. The image symbolizes the fast food chain's growth at the time. Marilyn Monroe is photographed lifting weights in 1952, a rare image that contrasts with her traditional delicate star persona. A McDonald's counter in 1976 shows the classic 1970s setting with the red and yellow logo and simple design. Customers place orders during the chain's first major global expansion. Arnold Schwarzenegger, early in his career, walks the streets of Munich, Germany in 1967, promoting his local gym. The first X-ray taken by Wilhelm Röntgen in 1895 showed his wife Anna Bertha Röntgen's hand with a ring visible on her fingers. School children performed the American flag salute in 1892, a symbolic act of patriotism and loyalty. The Statue of Liberty is photographed in 1878 while still under construction, with its iron framework visible as the copper cladding was installed. Frederick Auguste de Bartholdi's work was a gift from France to the United States. The Stockholm Telephone Tower, built in 1890, connected about 5,500 telephone lines, marking a milestone in Sweden's telecommunications expansion. A view of Chinatown in San Francisco in 1898 captures the vibrant center of Chinese culture with bustling streets and Oriental-style markets. The 1895 Benz Velo is considered Mercedes-Benz's first mass-produced car with a one-cylinder engine and seating for 2 passengers, reaching up to 12 miles per hour. An experimental surface contact tram is shown in an urban transport innovation test in the 1890s. This model used street contact technology to transmit electric power. In the 1920s, women worked in telephone exchanges, saying "number please" hundreds of times during an 8-hour shift, essential for communication at the time. Couples in a bar in Pittsburgh in 1959 are photographed enjoying an evening of socializing in a typical venue of the era. A mother and her 10 daughters are photographed in Boston in 1952. The image reflects the traditional family of the era, with the younger daughters standing beside their mother. A child wearing a monkey mask in the 1920s, capturing a moment of fun and play. Television arrives to the village in 1980 in the Soviet Union, symbolizes the introduction of television to rural areas with limited media access. Arnold Schwarzenegger carries Stacey Bentley in one arm during the Miss Olympia contest on August 30th, 1980, the year he returned to competition after retiring. A view of Washington, D.C. in 1863 shows Trinity Episcopal Church in the foreground and the unfinished Capitol building in the background. Seattle's downtown terrain was leveled between 1897 and 1930 using high-pressure water cannons to remove hills like Denny Hill and Queen Anne. A man lifts weights in front of an audience in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, during an athletic demonstration in 1956. The event promoted physical fitness and social unity. Window washers work on suspended scaffolds on the Empire State Building's facade in New York City in the 1930s, shortly after the skyscraper's completion in 1931. A portable radio built into a straw hat is invented by an American engineer in 1931 to bring entertainment to rural communities. Anita Colby poses next to identical mannequins in a New York studio during a fashion shoot in 1954. Enzo Ferrari takes part in the Parma-Poggio di Berceto Hill climb in Italy in 1919, finishing fourth driving a Costruzioni Meccaniche Nazionali car. Two men compete in a motorized chariot race on a dirt track in Indianapolis, USA in 1925. Residents move into new homes in the planned Lakewood neighborhood in California in 1953. The rows of cookie-cutter houses reflect post-war suburban growth. Geisha apprentices train in traditional dances and etiquette at the Geisha School in Tokyo in 1951. The course included shamisen, calligraphy, and tea ceremonies. A television telephone is displayed at the International Radio Exposition in Stuttgart, West Germany in 1965, featuring an integrated screen and headset. The prototype enabled real-time image transmissions. Coleman A. Young smiles as dozens of colorful balloons are released during a civic celebration in Detroit in 1984. The city's first black mayor, he served until 1994. A cooking class at the Brides and Mothers School in Schwanenwerder, Berlin in 1938 shows students learning traditional recipes such as breads, jams, and soups. A young woman exercises on Santa Monica Beach, California in the 1960s, jumping on the sand near the pier at sunrise as beachgoers watch. John F. Kennedy, a Harvard student, visits the Leaning Tower of Pisa in 1937 during a trip to Europe. The famous tilted tower impressed the future president. Steve Jobs is pictured next to his BMW motorcycle in 1982, one of the iconic images of the young entrepreneur before he founded Apple. Shoppers buy perfume and jewelry at the Illum department store in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1904. The elegant setting reflects the era's luxury, with display windows perfectly arranged to showcase high-end items. A hot dog vendor stands in front of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in Manhattan in June 1976, offering snacks to visitors and passers-by. Students smoke, drink, and play cards in a dormitory at Stetson University in Florida around 1900. The 1896 Athens Olympics marked the first modern Olympic Games, bringing together athletes from 13 countries in track and field, swimming, and gymnastics. A man poses with a loaf of bread in front of a banner that reads, "The meaning of the Czechoslovak Communist Party's policy, human welfare in the 1960s." Ozzy Osbourne is photographed in 1977 during the start of his solo career after leaving Black Sabbath. Known for his eccentric personality and energetic stage presence, he displays his unique style. Men ride the wooden flume raft at Hood River Junction on the Columbia River on the border between Washington and Oregon. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.